Over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the drums coming everywhere. Send the word, you beware.
I just want to hop on here and give you guys the 411 about why Peter Monn is a cock-sucking piece of fucking shit.
Oh, he is definitely lying about the circumstances of his treatment. He said in that vlog that every day he was drinking 340 ounces of Colt 45 beer. Every day he was drinking a fifth and a half of Jack Daniels. Every day he was taking a ton of Vicodin. Every day he was smoking crack. Every day he was snorting cocaine. If this was true, he would not have been still alive, never mind walking and talking. I call bullshit. Then he says the day he went and he failed for every single drug. It was crazy, you guys, every single one. So he was on meth? So he was dropping acid? So he was shooting heroin? I call bullshit on the drug test story. Also, he says his blood alcohol level was 0.37% that day. Since 50% of adults are dead at 0.4%. So again, I call B.S. Also, did he just say he quit treatment? He said he was looking for a way to quit. If he did a meeting with his dad, he could quit, so he did it. So why is he so proud of treatment? He only went BC, he was forced and had no other choice. He left early. He quit going to meetings for years and in my opinion only goes now BC. It gives him a free audience who is captive to listening to him drivel on and on about his late mother. He is nothing to aspire to. It makes me sad for all those PPL who cannot afford treatment. The ones who don't have a rich daddy to fill the house with groceries and get them a new car. He admitted to driving his car into a building. Did he get arrested? Did daddy bail him out? Did daddy have to pay for damages? Did he avoid arrest by agreeing to treatment? Not only that, but he has incriminated his father I don't know how many times by telling us that his dad filed a false police report that he was driving Peter's vehicle and filed a false insurance claim as well to protect Peter from criminal charges. And he accuses crazies on here for the reason why his family AMD friends don't want to be on his vlogs. What a joke. Peter literally discloses confidential, private and safety information about everyone. So he drives his car into a Perkins or a ditch. Which one? 'Cause he always says both. A simple Google search shows 0.37 is alcohol poisoning, so he wrecks his car and is borderline dead and they took him to a rehab facility instead of an actual hospital? He recalls every detail of that night, but yet he was so 0 high and drunk? Bullshit. From the point of view of an actual addict, he's lying and fabricating the entire fucking story. Call me insensitive for coming for his sobriety, but the true insensitive one is Pete. He's taking a real issue that destroys and claims lives daily to paint a picture that he is some miracle. It's all for attention. Honestly, I think he just stole bits and pieces from the actual lives of true addicts that he came in contact with while he was working in that treatment center. All to create the perfect boo-boo, crybaby, pity-me story. I don't buy this BS story that Peter Monn suffers from penis pain. This is just too funny. You can't make it up. Remember, he was going to have to wear a back brace for 6 months after the car accident? Never fell for that either. Now let's get into some new and old Reddit snark comments on how people woke up to his lying ass ways, shall we? When I finally had the scales fall from my eyes and started seeing the dark side of Peter, I initially called myself a fool for drinking his Kool-Aid for so long. I'm embarrassed to admit I even sent him gifts, including a rainbow fan, a Starbucks gift card, and most cringe-worthy of all, some shoe stretchers when he and Alex went to Vegas and his shoes were too small, or not broken in, and he was limping by the time he got home. I absolutely cringe realizing I was completely duped by this man. When Peter started yelling at his audience last year, and treating his viewers like crap, all in the name of standing up for himself, all the little niggling things I noticed in the 5 years I watched him came to a head. I think the thing that bothers me the most is his dishonesty about so many things when he is in a 12-step program and has been for nearly 30 years. I'm in AA, too, and he can't kid a kidder anymore. Our first step is about getting honest. I've joked at many meetings that AA not only ruined my drinking, it also ruined my dishonesty. Because if you're in AA and truly working the program, as we say at meetings, you're an honest person who takes responsibility for your actions. I have no reason to doubt he doesn't drink anymore, but being in the program as long as I have to question if he's like one of the hundreds of people, mostly men, I have attended meetings with who think stopping drinking is all they have to do. There is so much more you have to change in order to be the kind of person who lives by the code of AA's love and tolerance. I have been a lurker here for a couple of weeks, and when I say I cried when I found you all, it wouldn't be exaggerating, like Peter. I had felt for so long that I was the only one seeing this negative stuff about Peter when his comment section seems to be made up of rabid fans who would never call him out. My reluctance to share my experience is because I have learned here that he reads this subreddit and would be able to figure out who I was. I've left plenty of only positive comments on his videos over the years but stopped when I finally saw the light. Thank you all for this safe space and for showing me I wasn't imagining things. I feel instead that I was gaslit. Was fooled too. I felt the same when I found this. I tried to reason thinking he's just going through a tough time. I was a regular commenter. I realized last year I was purposely wording my comments as though I was stepping on eggshells. It triggered my anxiety beyond anything I felt in years. I got called out on video because I corrected one of his facts, a date he had gotten wrong by quite a few months. The wrath. The barrage of verbal whipping. I was so upset and sad. I unsubscribed, but I often think if his personality changed so drastically in his everyday life, wouldn't his friends and family be concerned? It can be a medication? Or from a head injury? I'm glad I finally stopped making excuses for a disordered human and found where other PPL have come with the same aha moment. You see? It's not one person talking to their self back and forth. It's over 600 that saw the lighties. People who point out discrepancies or question him are raked over the coals, in my opinion. His super fans are quick to defend him and see him as practically perfect in every way, which I have to believe feeds his ego big time. He definitely has a case of know-it-allitis. I think people in recovery especially want to see the good in others. Peter is very manipulative and puts on a decent front until he doesn't. I wanted to send him things too, though I had nothing myself. I find it disgusting he accepts items from his fans and barely acknowledges them. Not only that, but he is not destitute by any means. I haven't seen anyone go on as many trips as they do. He takes and doesn't give. I can imagine he's the one at meetings who has to hold court and have all the attention. I have no doubt he reads here. And middle finger this is for him for treating others the way he does and pretending he's the next coming of Oprah at the same time. He nor his fans intimidate me. I find him pathetic and abhorrent. At one point I remember being totally confused because he'd rail about negative comments he was getting, and I would comb his comment section and find only gushing comments from people who think he's the best thing since sliced bread. I thought, WTF? He's saying he doesn't delete comments, and yet I'm finding nothing to justify him screeching at his audience. It wasn't until I started reading here that I realized, oh, he's talking about comments he reads here. It finally clicked into place. I was right there with you. Watched him since the J-Star/KVD drama. My whole family knew he was. I watched every video and even listened while we were driving. Put him on to fall asleep. I made excuses for things that bugged me, and was right there with the vloggerinos. Every lie and exaggeration I would catch him in, I'd make up an excuse. When the vloggerinos came up with the crane idea to gift Peter, it was the first time I didn't make excuses for him. I watched Ko put hours into that piece. You could see the stress and anxiety he put himself through to get every piece of it perfect. It wasn't just the time and energy but the money the vloggerinos all pitched in to make that happen. Anyway, it took him months to even mention it after he received it. After everyone continually asking him about it, he finally makes a video, and then never mentions it again. He doesn't have it displayed or anything. It completely rubbed me the wrong way. The standing up for himself era finally did it for me. Telling us we can get $4 and Ed and we could leave if we didn't like it pissed me off, then him saying that's the realest version of himself he's ever shown on YT. A few weeks later apologizes, and the next day thanking the people who got him and basically saying the rest of us had no sense of humor and were boring turds. Face with rolling eyes, he tried to say he said $F and K yourself as a joke, that he and Tanya always talked like that and it was just like he was talking to a girlfriend. Like we didn't watch him screaming with steam pouring out of his ears when he said it. Just complete lies. I unsubscribed and never looked back. Thanks for bringing up Ko. I was gobsmacked when I saw what he'd created for Peter. I hadn't realized it was somewhat of a group effort, having had support for the vloggerinos, which makes it an even bigger deal. I would be so touched, so honored to receive such a gift. I'd definitely have it on display and would let my gratitude be known. Instead, Ko got the equivalent of a nothing burger from Peter. That really rubbed me the wrong way. The personality change to manipulate could give you whiplash. His behavior is cyclical. He can only keep the mask on for so long, then a slip, then the strap breaks and exposes his true venom. This is when the predictable I love you to the audience starts to backtrack for going a tad too far. It was called 1,000 cranes for Peter Monn. Ko made 1,000 origami cranes which took weeks. People could send them in with messages or tell Koa what to write and sign their name. That took quite a while. After he made like an installation and decorated it with the cranes. It had lights and like LED branches, the lights were like in a rainbow formation. I would guess the whole thing was about 3 feet x 2 feet. It was not a small project, which is why it took so long. Ko made YouTube videos showing the progress that you can watch. It was pretty impressive. Peter finally made a video after having it for what seemed like a couple of months. Some of the vloggerinos started making comments and I'm sure he felt the heat to make the video. He said he had never had people care for him like that and he was blown away, maybe shed a few tears, and said he was gonna hang it up. It was so beautiful. After that video he never mentioned it again and it never got displayed. So really the only time we saw it hung, with the lights on etc. was on Ko's YT channel. Regular viewers who weren't in his vloggerinos group didn't see it properly and had no idea how much time, energy, and money went into it. Ko's channel is called Love Ko and if you type out, Love Koa 1,000 cranes for Peter Monn the video will pop up. If you scroll through the videos you can see the finished product. He had talked about forgiveness, but it's just words. He knows the phrases but he doesn't do any of the work. Like you said, he reeks of jealousy and vengefulness. Peter goes to steakhouses, to brunch, feeds the birds and refuses to take basic and safe pain medication. He tells long stories, goes out for coffee, wonders about cars as in the neighborhood, sits outside on the porch, chats it up and yells across the street to his neighbors. He says he's in the worst pain from his kidney stone. He shares everything, even his intimate pain, his words, becoming angry and scolding randos on the internet who give him advice. It's not difficult to understand why people question him. If a person didn't wonder what was happening with him then that would be a problem. Maybe that's the real reason he met his dad as scheduled for lunch and didn't cancel. He wanted to ask his dad to get ready to make a call. I hope that Peter got some burned to a crisp, overworked, jaded, no-nonsense, old and seasoned emergency department nurse. A nurse who took one look at Peter's histrionics and completely ignored his foolish bullshit. I've worked with 65, 70, and even 80-year-old nurses, who could scare patients straight for their own good. But Peter's rubbish isn't worth confronting. It's too absurd and unnecessary to waste time on. Peter said he was in such agony that he was screaming in the house. He was crawling on the stairs and beating his fists. He was vomiting. Alex asked him, "Babe, what is going on?" Alex eventually took Peter to the emergency department to find the cause of his excruciating groin pain that Peter said was off the charts and beyond a 10. After scans in the emergency department, Peter started breathing heavily and pacing. He asked Alex to get the nurse because he didn't want to go through the intolerable pain again. He said he was bawling his eyes out. He was bent over and in agony for 20 minutes, sobbing. During his intolerable agony, he thought it wise to call his sponsor for advice and inform the sponsor that the hospital wanted to alleviate his uncontrollable suffering with a dose of pain medication. The sponsor quickly told him to take whatever the hospital staff ordered. Let's break this down. Peter was in such searing and unmanageable pain that his breathing was labored and he was sobbing uncontrollably and asking Alex to get the nurse so he could take something to alleviate the pain. But then Peter decided to put the emergency medicine and staff on pause so he could place a call to his unsuspecting sponsor about his acute condition, putting inappropriate pressure and responsibility on the sponsor. I've worked in emergency departments for years. In my experience, I've never seen a patient in excruciating pain, with or without an addiction history, call their sponsor to discuss a single dose of emergency pain medication. Instead of resting and relaxing the next day, which is his baseline behavior, Peter decided that the potential to pass a kidney stone wasn't enough to keep him from having lunch with his father at a steakhouse. Peter doesn't usually leave the house, but he'll go out with a kidney stone that he's about to pass. Apparently, his father can't remember he's a vegetarian either. And Alex is out with the girls again. His stories are Bat's hit. So he can take his kidney stone crap and shove it. The moment Rich called him out, he makes up asinine story. Then his dad takes him to a steakhouse? OMG, you can't make this up. Meanwhile, all over Alex's Instagram he's out with the girls. Proof right there, he's not saying, "Babe, you want me to call 911. Peter did a video saying he's over it? No, Peter, we're over your bullshit. Guys, as always, leave your comments down below.
Inspector! Very interesting museum you have here. Inspector? Please tell me nothing. I prefer to investigate the scene of the crime spontaneously. That way it gives my trained instincts full rein, you know?
But our security measures...
I'm sure your security measures are very good, but obviously not good enough. Now, let me see.
Yes, very effective indeed. The element of surprise. Of course, I knew it was going to happen all the time, but nevertheless, the element of surprise. Oh, how very kind of you to welcome me. Is there any way of getting in and out of this place without this happening all the time?
Deactivate. Deactivate the door.
Yes. Oh. So we meet again. Very ingenious.
He pulled himself across the floor.
He did?
How else could he avoid the radar field?
Yes, how else? Of course, you would need a very slippery floor to do that.
Therefore, the wax.
The wax?
Are you, all right?
Of course I am all right. I'm examining the wax. Have you taken a sample of this wax?
Wax is wax.
Oh, that is where you are wrong. Wax is not just wax. In this case, it is a clue. English wax, French wax, domestic wax.
The inspector is right. Have the wax tested immediately.
It is my guess that you will find it is English wax.
Why?
Because your thief is an Englishman.
How do you know that?
It is my business to know that. He is Sir Charles Phantom, the notorious Lytton.
The Phantom?
Yes, one and the same. His calling card. 4 years ago, Sir Charles suddenly vanished. It was rumored throughout the underworld. Given up his life of crime, but my instinct told me he would not remain in hiding for long.
4 years is not long.
Time is not the issue here. This glove is the issue here. And it signifies the Phantom is up to his old tricks. But I will catch him. I'll root him out. It won't be easy. He's a master of disguise. And undoubtedly has gone back into hiding until the heat is off.
Man has so much more to offer, you know what I mean, Doug?
Yeah, I found that out when Mark Perper was running for class president in the 3rd grade.
Why, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, his campaign slogan was "Vote for me and I'll show you my wee-wee." He won by a landslide.
love you so. I will be unhappy. I let you